Episode 9. As we were walking up to record this, Lachie just said 10 weeks, and it confused me a little bit. And then I was like, 10 weeks what? And then you were like, since the last time we posted. Which indicates to me that, one, we've been busy, but two, we need to say sorry. But we are back. I can't believe it's been 10 weeks. We've had a lot of camps. We have been pretty busy with work. I've been away. I've been in Broken Hill, which was a whole thing. The people that I get to work with at work go on a bit of an adventure every year. And this year we went to Broken Hill, which is so far away. It is 16 hours drive, and it is on the edge of the South Australia border. And we went out there because we were invited by a friend who is a teacher at a school, and she was running a camp for kids who live on cattle stations around Australia who rarely get to interact with other kids. So there was about 40 or about 35, 40 year 3 and 4 kids from stations, like cattle stations, and we all came to a place called Silverton, which is, if you want some fun facts, it's where Mad Max 2 was filmed. I've never seen it.
Neither.
But it's like outback.
The sticks.
And we ran a 3-day camp out of an old courthouse that had been turned into accommodation. And it was awesome. We got to see kids who are normally hard at work. And like, these are year 3 and 4 kids who are driving cars by themselves on property, fixing fences, mustering cows, like crazy. We got to spend 3 days and just allow them to be kids. One of the activities we did was kite making. And a couple of the kids that I'd spoken to when they asked what we were doing today, and I was like, we're going to make kites, a lot of them were like, what's a kite? And they, like a kid not knowing what a kite is or had never flown one, to then see them like running through a dry creek bed, flying this kite they'd like drawn on and designed, and it was just beautiful. It was just magic. So we were out there for 10-ish days with a team. It was a lot of fun. So that's what I've been doing. Lachie, what have you been doing?
I've been holding down the fort.
You have been.
I have been doing the least amount in my personal life that I've ever done, I think. Just like bunkering down, working, saving money, building friendship circles and investigating new ones and old ones, and just, yeah, loving it. No story to be told. just at work, at home, and a bit in between. But
may I ask a question?
Please.
What does it look like as you're building your friendship circles? You just said bunkering down, building friendship circles. What does that look like?
This is a great question.
I have a follow-up.
We're really going straight into it, aren't we?
No, we are in.
This isn't even planned. I have recently come up with a great and potentially life-destroying rule, and that's that I have 10 fingers, and that's how many people I have time for. And so...
That's very interesting.
It's tough. So I've always been someone with a...
I wonder why we hadn't been hanging out as much.
On one hand, I have my 5 fingers. I can fill that hand and have time for everyone and put in all the effort. Obviously, the thumb is the main character, and that's the...
Big thumbs up.
Yeah, that's the partner or the husband or wife. And then, yeah, I just got the other 4 fingers, and I just did like a deep review of like who those people are,
wow,
what they look like. And I don't believe that they all have to be filled at the moment or ever. And so I've been trying to see how many of those fingers are filled and hold a place for a person, and then expanding to 10 and trying to see where, like, who else is in that list of people. The hard part is who's not. Who am I potentially faking to a little bit? And what do I do with that? Because I have friends who are on my 10-finger list that have friends of hundreds, and they don't understand what my version of a friend is. And so I've been doing a lot of like personal research with the people around me, at work and at home and externally, and seeing where people fit in.
Wow.
Sorry, you struck a nerve. That was a...
I didn't realize that was all under there. That
Yeah.
was okay. I'm fascinated.
There's a lot of people around me, hopefully none that are listening to this, but they've asked me within recent episodes, listening to them, they said, "Are we friends?" And I'm like, I just look at my two hands and I
Do a
just
quick count.
I just visualize. I was like, where do you sit? And so, yeah, for someone who likes to keep their circle tight and similar to what we discussed with your circle, but if you bring someone in and you commit to giving them the time and effort, like making sure I'm doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, you can definitely have more than that. It's just a personal decision. I've decided, like, this is my number. 10 people that I can consider a friend and be there for and support and look after, but 5 that, like, if they call me at any time, I'm answering no matter what. I hope I'm not the only one, but there are times where you get a phone call. Sometimes you see the name and you're like, not right now.
Right.
You just let it ring out, or you're busy or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like I always get back to them, but sometimes it's not the right time. But there's a list of that on that hand of 5 that if someone makes that list, then 1, they'll probably never know, and 2, if they ever do call or need help, like, I'm there.
That's a really interesting thing to think about. The amount of capacity an individual has for other people. Because I know some people that it feels like they have way bigger capacity than I do, and so they're like, friendship circle is more than 10 people, like you were saying about people with hundreds. And I feel like you and I are wired similar way that sounds exhausting. If it's like I don't have that capacity, and not to say that people who have lots of friends don't go deep with each of those friends, but in my head it just going to the same amount of depth that I have with some of my closest friends to say more than 10 people in my head is impossible for me. It's like a confronting thing to think about. Well, here was my original follow-up question before I realized what can of worms we were about to open.
You have opened a big well.
In building that friendship circle and maybe identifying a couple people on it and investing in, are you having fun? Is that a mad pivot?
So this is like deep and soft, but you're having a great time.
Are you having fun doing it though?
What's the best part? Tell me more. I'm having my type of fun. I think we've discussed.
That's perfect. Like
Jonah just looked at me like I've just spoke gibberish. Like he doesn't know what.
Yeah, Lockie's fun. No.
What?
But like, as long as you're having fun.
Yeah, my fun is, I don't even know what the definition of it is, but when I think fun, I think like little year 3 and 4-year-old kids running around with kites and rainbows and like
I've seen it recently.
Toys and stuff. Yeah, like that's what I picture fun as. But for me, I was like, what's the point? Like, where's the competition? Who's the winner? What's happening?
Yes. Your 2 types of fuel system.
Yes. So yeah, for me, it's like just that kind of like deep thought investigation, like moving towards an unknown destination, but with a purpose. What a sentence that was. But that's what my type of fun is. It's either the competitive stream or the like working towards something
Moving
for a
forward.
goal.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes.
Like you're having a good time, he said, shaking his head.
Shake my head no, but say yes. It's somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Potentially, maybe fun is the wrong word. Maybe it's like you're having a good time, or is it fulfilling, or is it enjoyable?
Yeah, it's been fulfilling, enjoyable, interesting, confronting.
Starts into the negatives. Hard. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard, but that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
I think hard things for me are enjoyable because it takes time.
Yeah. So this kind of ties in quite nicely. I don't know if you planned that. If you did, you're a genius.
Yeah, none of that was on the agenda.
Ties into the challenge kind of our last episode, which was all about the circle of friendship, and finishing with the challenge of vocalizing appreciation and gratitude for the people around us in an attempt to step outside the circle and make the friendship more beautiful. I think maybe I mentioned on the last episode, but my like emotional range isn't crazy. Like my highs aren't that high, my lows aren't that low. I kind of I'm pretty consistent in the middle. Some of that is just my nature, but also some of that I have put that on myself, because if I love something too much and it becomes beautiful, what does that mean? You know, that kind of vibe. So in an effort to like actually vocalize how I feel about friendship, it's taking off the cap of my emotion of how good this is and letting it be known. Have you been aware of or pushing into that in your own way of having fun?
I guess when I think about it, that's probably what has brought on this 10-finger journey. Really, it's just like, who am I thankful for, or who am I not thankful for enough that do a lot?
Yeah.
I didn't listen back to the last episode, so I don't know where we're sitting at in terms of the timeline, but we ran our annual like expedition with a year group, and the end of that we were discussing with the kids a lot in my group about your like theoretical backpack and what you wear and what you carry day to day. It's not something that you can see and weigh.
It's another episode, what's in your backpack?
Yeah. But that like question has meant a lot in like the groups that I've led and the way that I've been thinking about like the people around me. Because what we said to the boys was, one kid had like an asthma condition and he could only push himself so far, and so at certain points on the trail we had to like drop our packs, pull some things out and distribute and give out the weight. And so for
Beautiful.
me, the debrief of that is, who carries what for you on a day-to-day basis? What weight do they carry? And
Wow.
Everything here seems hard because we don't have showers, we don't have bathrooms, you don't have a kitchen, you don't have your parents to cook for you. You have to do everything yourself. And if you're uncomfortable, that's your fault. And so your pack's heavy because all the responsibility's on you. I'm here to guide you and keep you safe, but all that responsibility is yours. Your everyday life seems easy. It's only easy because people are carrying your weight. And so looking at my 10 fingers and giving them names, I'm also looking at who's carrying what weight for me and what can I take off them and what can I carry myself and just man up and do it. So
Wow.
That's a big loop.
Yeah, so I guess the challenge opened up that whole journey.
I don't believe it was intentional. I don't believe that's why I ended up there. But maybe just that train of thought and starting to think like that, I just spiraled into that big pool, which I am not upset about. I think it was great timing for my, like, where I'm at in my life, and hopefully it does wonders moving forward. What about you?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it pretty intentionally. A couple of weeks ago, we had 2 weeks of back-to-back camps that mean a lot to me, and one of my best mates and his wife come on the camp, and so on both camps. So I was around one of my friends for 2 weeks, and on the first day of the camp, when the kids were arriving, my friend and I were out the front helping with regos. And at the time, he didn't listen to the podcast. I don't know if he has since he got whiff of it. And so I knew that he hadn't heard the episode. And I just decided to tell him about the circle. And so I told him the story of the ant and the drawing the circle and then talking about it and thinking about what's my circle. And I ended up telling him about the fear of something becoming beautiful. And I related it to him and our friendship. There's some elements that I don't want to be the same anymore. Like, I want to press in and let something become really meaningful and really significant and really beautiful. And so I just like took a step outside that circle and told him about that. And my friend is just an incredible listener, and he didn't need to like say much in response. He just listened, had a couple of questions, and he just understood. I'd set myself up because then for the next 2 weeks we were like living in each other's pockets on camp. But it was just like, yeah, it probably felt like for the 2 weeks I had permission to just take the cap off my emotion and not be so afraid of what it could be. And then since finishing camp, the times that we have spent together have been like more beautiful. And so that was just like one way that I stepped out. Not necessarily in the same way of the challenge of being grateful and vocalizing it, but it's just like, I guess, talking about it honestly and openly.
Sounds like a big step, because I feel like when we filmed the episode where we talked about circles,
Yeah.
you were slightly hesitant to open that circle, and,
Yes.
and not that this is a podcast that is listened to by many people at all, but it's there. Like, it's going to sit there for a while.
Yeah.
And so for you to have that like courage and ability to just walk up to someone that you haven't seen in a bit and just be like, I'm just going to tell you this.
So this is it. Yeah.
That's a huge step.
Yeah. It felt like a good catch up.
Yeah.
Unless you're about to say something that I just cut you off.
I was about to segue onto
Dude,
a question that you may have been asked.
Seg away, my friend.
Yeah, you returned from your trip and we had a catch up, and you made a point of saying that you had a friend or someone you're aware of that has stumbled into the Stoke world and found the episodes and has asked you an incredible question.
Yes, this was unexpected. A friend of mine sent me a message saying, what quest are you on today and this week? And that, if you don't know, is a throwback to another episode all about questions. And I was really grateful actually for this, because that statement or that question, what quest are you on, wasn't in my head, and at the time it probably should have been. And so I got a fresh reminder, and I was like, oh yeah, like, what quest am I on? And I was really grateful for that. And then a beautiful little encouragement that my friend is listening to the podcast, which is very sweet. But they asked me a question which could have made it to episode 10, but I don't know if we would spend some time on it, and so I threw it out for a potential this one. So my friend said this: do you / have you, or Lachie, experienced FOMO, which is the fear of missing out? If so, what do you experience it the most for, and what do you do with it, or how do you deal with it? So have we experienced FOMO? Where do we experience it, and what do we do with it? I have not prepped Lachie on this, other than like saying the question to him like 2 weeks ago or something.
I feel like we need a 4-hour sit-down session.
It's a stunning question, and I probably have a different take on it than, not like, I don't want to say majority of people, but to what I normally hear about FOMO. So I'm interested to hear what you think.
Yeah, I feel as though, coming back off the discussion of, this does segue really well. We've done well here.
Come on.
We're coming off the back of like a list of 10 people that you like hold close to you and care about and have time for. When I think about the people in that list that maybe have, or appear to have, heaps of time for everyone else, they're the people who potentially have a bit of FOMO because they're not included and they're not there. I feel like there's definitely been times where I feel left out and I stress and panic, but for the most part, I'm kind of content in just not being a part of something. So the only time that FOMO really comes out is when you overhear something that has something to do with you. Like if you hear your name or you hear something that you've done, and like you obviously need to be a part of that.
Yeah.
There's that solid reaction that they're just talking smack about you or not inviting you somewhere or doing something. But I can't think of a key point where I've heard, I don't know what the situation, there's so many situations that this could tie to. But I feel like I've been left out of something and been upset. I always feel like the generic saying of everything happens for a reason. Like if you're not a part of it, it doesn't matter. You weren't meant to be. It's fine. But I also am someone who works, goes home, rests, and works.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I allow myself enough time to go and do all the things. So if I was invited anyway, I probably would say no.
Right.
It's a big workaround of the question, but
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where I sit for the most part. Until some example happens in the next week, and I'm like,
You're like, oh, this is it.
Let me take notes.
I think you and I operate very similar in that regard. Because when I read the question, my initial response was like, I don't get FOMO that often. For example, last weekend I was on camp, but I had just come back from my Broken Hill adventure and I was so tired. And all of some really close people in my life that I do life with and I love dearly, they were all on camp with me, and they had organised it on the Saturday night of camp. There's going to be a big games night, all in, hanging out, chatting, having fun, and I was so tired, and I was like, "No, I'm going to go to bed."
Tap out.
So it was like 6 p.m. having dinner, and I was in a beautiful conversation, and that kind of wrapped up. And I looked at my wife, and I was like, "I'm out. Like I'm going to bed." My wife stayed for games and everything. Maybe it was because it was a game, and I don't overly enjoy games because if I play, I could lose. That's another throwback. No, it wasn't those type of games, but
Not a board game.
it wasn't a board game. But I know that there would have been people there that almost like had to be there because the thought of missing out on some fun or some depth of community or whatever, like it would be FOMO, the fear of missing out on that. But I was like, I'm going to bed. Like I love them dearly, and but I'm just going to bed. If you are experiencing FOMO, I would ask yourself a question. Is the FOMO that you're experiencing healthy for you or unhealthy for you? Because I think it swings kind of two different ways. Because if you're putting the fear of missing out on something above something that you actually need, it's unhealthy. When I tapped out of going to the games night, it was because I'd been on 10, 11 days out in Broken Hill. I'd just driven 15 hours in a van with young people, and I was exhausted, and I hadn't spent time by myself for 12 days, and I'm a massive introvert. Maybe also that's why I don't get FOMO. But what I needed was time by myself and rest and like an early night. Again, I'm also old, so maybe an early night is just a foreign concept to other people. But what I needed was rest. If I had FOMO and I listened to the fear more than what I needed, it's like unhealthy. I need to look after me and what I need. Whereas if I'm controlled by FOMO, it's actually to my own detriment. I just think that I'm missing out on something, in the social space or in an opportunity or an experience, but actually it's more detrimental to me. I just wrote down so I didn't forget that if you say yes to something going on an experience, you are saying no to something else. So you're always going to miss out on something. So if I had said yes to the games night, I'm actually saying no to my own time. We just don't experience the FOMO when it's around maybe like solo things or like whatever. But if I'm so controlled by the fear of missing out on a social thing that I actually miss out on rest, then I'm still missing out on something, and I'm actually missing out on the thing that is more beneficial for me. And it doesn't mean that every time there's a social thing on I have to say no, and if I don't, that kind of vibe. But you're always going to be missing out on something. And so you have to be controlled, or you have to base your decisions on what's healthy, what do I need, what's like, I think a huge part of like discipline plays into it. If I'm undisciplined, I'm always going to be controlled by fear if I'm undisciplined. But if I have discipline, I can weigh up, sometimes having my own space would be fun, and I actually go towards that because I'm fearful of the depth of community, and so I kind of use it as an excuse, but actually I should be moving more towards social things, and that's like the health and unhealth is the fear of the missing out, because I actually do need to be a part of that and it is going to be really good for me, or is it because everyone else is going to experience something and I won't, and it's more self-centered, if that makes sense. Anything for you rattling away as I'm...
You need to take a breath?
As I'm rambling?
Yeah, I didn't have the same vision that we sat so close to each other in that category, but I think for a long time I've struggled to do stuff by myself, but I also don't do things in big groups. So
it's like 5 to 10, your perfect number. Man, I've linked it back again.
Yeah, it's such a weird line that I toe of, if I was to go on a camping trip or go party somewhere, like I just want like 3, 4, or 5. That's my that's my cap. And then after that, I don't want it many more, and I don't want many less.
I think I'm exactly the same.
So I always toss and turn. Like, there's been these parties that I've really wanted to go to, or like invitations to go places, but then when I look at the numbers of people or the list of people, I'm just like, I want to go, and I don't want to miss out. But also, if I get there, I know that I'm not going to want to be there. And so...
And wish I was back here.
Yeah. There's a really interesting quote I heard a long time ago, which I haven't used recently, but I did for a long time, and it really fixed my train of thought. And sorry for not giving the credit to the right person, but it goes along the lines of, what would you tomorrow want you today to do?
Unpack that for me.
It's just I think I've briefly brought it up in the past, but
you have,
it's the idea of thinking 24 hours ahead when you make a decision. So if you gave me an invitation tonight, be like, hey, I know you got work tomorrow. Well, it's a weekend, but here's the example. I know you got work tomorrow, but I really want to go do this thing. We haven't seen each other for 10 weeks. It's going to be super low key. Let's go chill. But I know I have an early start. I need to like think of my priority of like, respectfully, am I going to see you again? Hopefully.
Is there another opportunity for this?
But that like job means so much to me, and I can't jeopardize that. So you either meet in the middle and be like, yeah, let's do this thing and let's go cut off at this time, or I might pass this time and let's schedule it for here. And then if I was to go home for a little bit, I'd be like, I kind of wish I did that. But as soon as I go to sleep and wake up for work, I'm chilling. I'm good. And I know I made the right decision.
Yeah.
But if you just commit to it and you're just so on the fly because you don't want to miss out on these opportunities, like, again, scenario and your situation depends, because there's so many things that you say no to easily, but you probably should do it. Like, it's good for you. But just thinking that 24 hours in advance of what repercussion is this going to have, and look at both avenues. If I take this option A, don't go, what could that look like in 24 hours? Or if I take this option and do go, what could that look like in 24 hours? I think that mindset has sat with me quite a bit.
It's very interesting because you're approaching doing something or not doing something in a very logical and rational way, which is exactly where I come from. Because in my head, when I think about FOMO, I go, why would I base a decision off fear? If there's an experience, a bunch of people hanging out, but I really don't want to go because I need to do something else, but the fear of missing out on that experience compels me to go, then my life is like dictated by fear. Like I don't want to live like that.
And respectfully, what other fear in your life do you actually listen to?
Dude, come on. I think scarily, the only way to face it is by engaging with missing out. And just try it when you're like, I need to do this, but FOMO is trying to convince me to do this other thing. The only way to experience it is to face your fears, right? So miss out, see what happens. From the logical, rational mind, it's probably not actually going to be that bad. You'll see me tomorrow. Like, it's actually going to be more, there'll be other things that are more beneficial to you. So to the part of the question that's like, how do you deal with it, or what do you do with it? I would be like, face your fear. See what happens. And if you can discipline and tame that enough, soon you won't be controlled by the feeling of FOMO, but you'll be able to make rational, healthy, wise choices around, yes, I'm actually going to go and hang out with all these people because this is going to be really good for me and I need this. Or it's challenging and whatever, however you approach that. Or you'll know when to say no and be disciplined and do something else that you need instead. And it's the same as facing any fear. Now that, when you just said what other fear do you listen to, I was like, it's just a fear, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's like, if you have a fear of heights, in our context at work, we challenge people to face it and know that it's not that bad. And once you begin to face it, you can master it. So you can master FOMO. I feel like I have JOMO. I have the joy of missing out.
JOMO. Your name's Jonah. Jomo. Wait, Jomo, come over here. Yeah, for two people who maybe we do experience FOMO and we don't comprehend it as much as other people,
Yeah, it's true.
but for someone who potentially does experience FOMO, maybe just put 3 tick boxes on a door somewhere and just go out on a mission that when you experience FOMO, choose to just miss out and do it 3 times and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I imagine the people that feel that fear of missing out a lot, from my assumption, probably opt for the I'll go do it just in case, because so you don't miss out, and that would only strengthen the fear and give it more power.
Yeah.
But if you choose to miss out more and more, I assume that fear would go down because you realise you're potentially not missing out.
And even if there's moments where you are dictated by the FOMO and you go to that thing, you hang out, whatever, it'd be interesting to analyze how you feel afterwards or the next day or whatever that looks like. I feel like in my head I've pigeonholed FOMO into like social interactions. It could be a lot of things. But like if you choose that over a thing that's actually going to be more beneficial for you and the thing that you actually need, it'll be interesting to see over time how you're like, oh man, this is actually like draining me and I'm not getting enough rest, or I'm feeling depleted, I'm feeling like so over people. And it's like, well, yeah, kind of makes sense. Like, and so even if there's post giving into FOMO tick boxes of being like, oh man, yeah, I feel like this, I feel like this, I feel like this, you know, and weighing up, you know, almost like a bit of hindsight and letting that build your muscle to face FOMO moving forward.
The only thing I can loop this back to for myself, I've been doing a lot of thinking while you're talking, so potentially haven't digested everything you've said, but
That's fine.
it's on the episode, so I can listen to it back.
Come on.
I have done many sports and hobbies in the past, and there's one key moment where I was new to the sport and I wanted to, like, everyone just wants to be on the top team. Like, if you take your sport seriously and it's not just a hobby or for fun, like, you just want to be the best of the best, and you see that top team and you idolize the people there and you want to be there. But if you're new, rarely are you just going to be able to go there. And this opportunity, I guess it was like fear of missing out. Like, I just wanted to be around them all the time and be in that space to make sure that I guaranteed myself a spot on this team. And then that slowly faded away, because if they train 5 times a week and I train 5 times a week, I'm not catching up. Like, over time, I'll get close to them, but you're never going to catch them if they keep doing the same thing. I'd have to be training 7 nights a week and like just go out of my mind to even have a chance.
Yeah.
And so my cope for that was, well, if I want that, I'll make it. And so rather than chasing it and being a part of someone else's mission and goal, I make my own. And then what a wonderful power ticket if I could make a team that beats that team. I was like, well, no longer do I want to be a part of that. Yeah. Like, you can beat the FOMO by creating a better space. Ooh. And I've seen it a lot, like within friend groups, like certain people feel like they're missing out because they're not hanging out with X friend group. But what are you going to do with your time? You don't want to be alone. You're going to go message a bunch of other people, potentially end up in a better situation. Like, you never really know where that missing out is going to take you.
It's good.
So potentially that's a great avenue. It's like, force yourself to miss out and try and make it a better scenario if it's not good enough already.
Yeah.
Because you're only missing out because you think you're missing out, but if you just create a better space.
Yeah. And circle back to something that I said, that you are always missing out on something.
Always.
So you give into the fear of missing out over a particular thing and you're missing out on something else. So either be thrown to and fro by the fear of something or master the fear of it.
Gonna have to digest that a little bit.
Ooh. Distill.
That's a throw forward.
Come on.
Not a throw back.
Episode 11. It's good.
You happy with that, for that question?
Yeah. I feel like because we don't, now that I'm realizing that you and I don't experience FOMO, we might not have come at that with as much like, oh yeah, man, FOMO's so hard, because we're just like, meh. But maybe that is helpful for somebody else to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, feeling good.
I received a question a while back.
Yep.
It was prompted I went up to a few people and asked, like, hey, we discuss very interesting topics. How do we feel about this? What do we want to do? And one of the questions I got asked from a mutual friend of ours is, how do you stay consistently intentional? Or how do you remain intentional? And I would say that the short answer is don't.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next question is, be intentional in being intentional.
No,
It's like,
dude,
you
that's
see,
metacognition.
that's what you said the other day.
You
10
think
weeks
about
ago.
the way you're thinking.
Yeah, so it's something that we probably don't have the time to like dissect and digest, but it is a great question of like, how do you choose to be intentional, and what does that look like? What are the characteristics of someone who's intentional?
Well,
And I think one of the words that you've thrown out in the past, which has helped you a lot, is just be curious.
yeah,
And that's the easiest way to be intentional, is just question everything. You don't have to physically question it, because like it's annoying if you just ask people questions every 5 seconds. But
yeah,
if you choose to question things, and anytime you see something like that is a fact or a statement, just question it.
just take a second.
Be like, what could the other side of this look like? If that's the fact, what's not true?
Yeah,
And see how that works.
yeah. It's interesting because I have to work really, really hard at being intentional. I hope I don't give off the vibe that I'm always switched on and super intentional.
It's not the case.
Because if you think that about me, I want to tell you, I work so hard. Like it costs me so much energy to be intentional. I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast, but when I was little, I'm a wanderer, I'm a dreamer, and sometimes that makes me have like my head in the clouds, and I'm just not present. And not being present is hard to then be intentional, because intentionality is, you got to be present. So as a kid, if as a family we were going out, or if it was time to go to school or whatever, I would just like walk out the front door and would be halfway to school and realize that I haven't got my school bag, or I haven't put things in my bag properly, or I forgot lunch or whatever. And it became like a problem. And so my mum stuck a poster on the back of our front door, and it was like this big stop sign. And it was like, have you forgotten anything? Like, stop and think, have you forgotten anything? And so I'll get to the door and like even miss seeing the poster and have my hand on the door handle, and then see it and be like, oh yeah, like I haven't got this or that, whatever. And I had to build the muscle of being present and being intentional. And it's something that I have to work really, really, really hard on, because I could very easily just wonder and daydream and ponder in my own little world and miss the things that are happening around me. And you just have to be, you don't have to be, you have to learn to be and build the muscle of being present, being curious, and think about the way that you are intentional, which is metacognition. And it is a muscle. You don't just like flick a switch and you're suddenly intentional. You have to really work hard on it and give yourself things like posters on the back of a door or a reminder on your phone. I have a reminder on my phone that goes off every day, and you would think I would remember by now, but I need it every day to stay present, to stay intentional.
Damn. That is like, dude, every topic that comes up is just a whole episode, really.
It's crazy.
We can just be here for days talking. It's so good.
It's great.
I feel like I have recently, like, we all have a locker in our team and department, and someone said the other day, it's funny how much our lockers represent our personalities. And as of the last 6 months, maybe, my locker has like a plant in it. It's got a little shelf. I've got these little trays and like organized storage units, and it looks like perfectly clean.
Your locker is like the tiny homes of holiday getaways. Like plywood, nice indoor fire. Like, it's stunning. Little deodorant can in there. It's awesome. I love it.
It's got everything you need. But like, that was a intentional decision. Like, when I first got a locker, I didn't have anything. I had no reason. Everything lived in my bag.
Yeah.
And the reason for that was I was always ready. It didn't matter where I was and where I needed to go. Like I had everything I needed, and I carried like a 65-liter backpack, like a behemoth. Like you don't even take that hiking. Like,
Yeah. Just in case.
yeah. And then I made the transition and the intentional decision to just use a locker for what it's used for, which if I'm going to do that, it just means that each day I just need to stop, think, make sure I'm prepared, I have everything, and then continue. And like everyone looks at me and they're like, "Oh, you're such a freak," or like, "You're so neat and tidy," and like, "I'm so jealous." And like realistically, anyone can do that. Wouldn't recommend it. It takes a lot more effort, but it's funny how like just stopping and making that decision of I'm going to do this just for a period of time, and now it's like we run out of pens every 5 seconds in the office. I never do because I have a little like square thing on the side of my locker that has 4 pens.
It's magnetized to the door.
I need a pen. I walk to my locker, get a pen, go do what I need to do, walk back, put it back in. Like it's.
I tell you, this is probably going to be a segue into another topic for another thing. But what you have, Lachie, is courage. For example, people that set New Year's resolutions and get 2 weeks into it and then stop that resolution, they don't have courage. Because courage is like actually doing something. So we can say lots, and we can talk about being intentional and want to get intentional and want to beat FOMO or whatever. But the people that actually engage with it and the people that actually do it is because they have courage. So you're thinking about stopping and being present and some practical things that you can do, and you could be like, oh, well, I could do this to my locker, but then you actually have the courage to go and do it, and then you change and you grow and you develop from it. Or I actually decide it, and it's simple. It's just as simple as I actually decide to set the reminder in my phone that goes off every day, and then when I see it, I do what it tells me to. And there's courage. But if you're like, yeah, I want to be more intentional, and maybe you've heard a couple of things that we've said, and you're like, yeah, that's cool. If you don't do anything about it, it's because you don't have courage. I'm so sorry.
Just be blunt. Yeah, and I guess if my locker is an example of that, like the amount of times I've said I'm going to do something and then just don't.
Oh yeah,
like
I've done plenty of times.
Yeah, it's like all these things from an outside perspective look great, but then you look at my side of things and there's like 500 attempts and fails, and I'm like, okay, my locker's the one thing that I've put effort into. Like it doesn't take much. So. Oh, damn, we could definitely talk on those 2 points for ages, but
we could.
I've had a great time. I would find this as a quite convenient time to wrap it up. Yeah,
and I feel like after 10 weeks, 10 of not doing this, I feel like we've just slipped back into it quite nicely. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm like, yes, this is why we do this.
I've written 2 notes,
please,
which. Like, next episode, I would love to be a bit of a recap. Probably mentally to get us back into the flow of what we want this to be and where we want to go. But I also want to... There's been some really key things that I've experienced throughout these episodes. And, like, I love it when you say it, but something happens and then you just be like, I'm having a moment. And I want to catch those moments and like... keep grouping them. So maybe it's every 10 or every like milestone we group all those things together. So I'm just being selfish so that I can go back and if I ever need that inspiration or like what was that thought, there's just somewhere to go. It's just that one episode. Get it all, take it, remember it, and implement it.
It's kind of like a capstone, like a not that I say an end of a season, but it's like it's a marker of a season. Okay, so episode 10 will be I'm having a moment episode where we recount some of our I'm having a moment moments. Is that half of it? Because I know in episode 8 we spoke about doing the Q&A.
Yeah.
Q&A also next time, episode 10?
I reckon we just send it. We just see what happens. See what comes up in the meantime. I think the encouragement would be if these episodes land in hands of people who have questions, then like comment them, find us directly,
them in,
whatever it is. Like we can go on the hunt as well.
Yeah.
I got a question about being intentional just by having a conversation with someone, and
You just grabbed onto that.
it had nothing to do with Stoke. It had nothing to do with anything, but it just came up, and I said, I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So I think we can do our digging and research and look for questions.
Yeah.
And if anyone finds this and feels like there's a question anonymously or not anonymously, then shoot.
Sick. So let's aim for some I'm having a moments. And then if we have tracked down some questions, we can see how that flows in.
Yeah.
Episode 9.
Damn. I think this no pun intended, but it really like fuels my fire, and I feel like we all have that fire, and these discussions specifically for us is like literally a microphone on a stick sitting out in the breeze after a big week, getting back to work. Like, it just gets me so amped, and unfortunately it's the weekend, so I just go home.
You just have to sit with it for 2 days.
Fine, man. I just want to be at work. All right. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
That's a wrap, baby.